If you're watching this right now, there's a very good chance you or someone you know recently opened a letter from Social Security, paused halfway through, and thought to yourself, something about this doesn't feel right. Seniors across the country are reporting a strange notice from the Social Security Administration, not a scam, not junk mail, a SSA letter. But the wording is different, the tone is colder, the language is more technical. And for a lot of retirees, disabled Americans, and people living on fixed income, it raised one uncomfortable question almost immediately. Is something about my benefits about to change? Let me be very clear right up front. You are not alone. Over the last several weeks, thousands of seniors from California to Florida, from Ohio to Texas, have reached out saying the same thing. The notice looks official. It references benefit adjustments, income verification, or account updates. But it doesn't clearly say whether money is being taken away, increased, delayed, or reviewed. And when you live on Social Security, SSI, or SSDI, uncertainty is stressful. One confusing sentence can feel like a threat to your entire monthly budget. Some people said the letter mentioned a review. Others saw the words adjustment, recalculation, or change in benefit status. A few noticed new codes in the top corner they had never seen before. And what really made people uneasy was this. The letter didn't explain itself in plain language. It assumed you already understood the system. And most people don't, because the system was never designed to be simple. Before we go any further, if you rely on Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or Medicare, or you're helping a parent or spouse who does, this channel exists for you. We break down confusing government updates in plain English without fear tactics or political spin. So if you haven't already, take a second and subscribe. It helps the channel grow, and it ensures you don't miss important updates that can directly affect your income. Now let's talk about why this notice feels different. Most seniors are used to getting the same kinds of mail from Social Security: annual COLA notices, Medicare premium updates, occasional benefit verification letters. They usually come at predictable times of year with familiar language. This one doesn't follow that pattern. Many people received it outside the normal COLA season. Others got it even though nothing about their life has changed. Same income, same bank account, same address, same benefits. One retiree from Arizona told us she opened the letter and immediately felt her stomach drop. She said, "It didn't say I was losing money, but it didn't say I wasn't either." Another gentleman in Pennsylvania said the notice referenced his earnings record, even though he hasn't worked in over a decade. A widow in Michigan said her letter mentioned survivor benefits and Medicare in the same paragraph without explaining how they were connected. That kind of vague language is what creates panic. And when people panic, they make mistakes. They ignore letters they shouldn't ignore, or they rush to call SSA and sit on hold for 3 hours without getting clear answers. Or worse, they fall for scams pretending to help fix the issue. So let's slow this down and talk calmly about what's really going on. This notice didn't come out of nowhere. It's tied to a cluster of changes and updates happening inside the Social Security system right now. Some of them are routine, some of them are overdue, and some of them are happening at the same time in a way that's creating confusion. Over the past year, the SSA has been updating internal systems that handle benefit calculations, income verification, and Medicare premium coordination. That may sound technical, but here's what it means in real life. When systems change, letters change, language changes, and automated notices sometimes go out before a human explains them properly. A lot of seniors assume that if they receive a notice, it means they did something wrong. That's not how Social Security works. In many cases, these letters are informational. They're generated automatically when certain data points are updated, even if your benefit amount stays exactly the same. But here's the problem. The notice doesn't always say that clearly. Instead of saying, "This does not affect your payment," it might say, "This information may be used to determine future benefit eligibility." That one sentence alone has caused anxiety for thousands of people, because what does may mean? Next month, next year, never. And that's exactly why so many seniors are reporting this notice as strange. Another reason this is happening now is timing. We are in a period where multiple benefit-related changes overlap. Cost of living adjustments, Medicare Part B premium recalculations, income reporting cross-checks with the IRS, state assistance coordination for Medicaid and SNAP. All of those systems talk to each other whether we like it or not. Even if your benefit is not changing, your file may be accessed or updated behind the scenes. And when that happens, a notice can be triggered. Let me give you a realistic example. Imagine a retiree receiving $1,240 per month in Social Security. Medicare, Part B is deducted automatically, about $174.70. That leaves a net payment of roughly $1,567. Now imagine Medicare updates its records, even by a few dollars, due to income thresholds or administrative adjustments. Social Security gets that update. The system flags the account. A notice is generated explaining that benefit-related data was reviewed. No money is taken, no increase is applied, but the letter still goes out. To the system, that's normal. To a senior opening the mail, it feels alarming, and that's why this matters so much, because understanding the notice prevents unnecessary fear. Now, there's another layer to this that we need to address honestly. Some notices are related to verification reviews. That doesn't mean you're being accused of fraud. It means the SSA periodically checks information to make sure records are accurate. Especially for SSI and SSDI recipients, income and resource limits require occasional confirmation. Even if nothing has changed, the system may still ask. The wording on these letters has recently shifted. They are more formal, more legal, less explanatory. That's a choice the agency made to standardize communication, but it's had the unintended effect of confusing the very people it's supposed to serve. And here's what's important. Ignoring a notice because it's confusing can cause problems later, but panicking over it can cause just as many problems. Right now, seniors are stuck in the middle, trying to decode government language without clear guidance. That's exactly why we're doing this breakdown. In the rest of this discussion, we're going to walk through what this notice usually means, who actually needs to take action, and who does not. We'll explain how benefit increases, payment dates, and Medicare costs factor into all of this. And we'll talk about the rumors you may have heard about benefit cuts, stimulus payments, or clawbacks, and separate fact from fear. But for now, here's the key takeaway from this first part. If you received a strange SSA notice, it does not automatically mean your benefits are being reduced or taken away. It does not mean you did something wrong. And it does not mean you need to give personal information to anyone who contacts you about it. What it means is that something in the system was updated, reviewed, or verified. And understanding what kind of notice you received is the first step to protecting your income and your peace of mind. If you're comfortable sharing, let me know in the comments where you're watching from and whether you received one of these notices. City and state help us see patterns, and your questions help guide future updates. Now let's talk about what this notice is actually about, because once you understand what's happening behind the scenes, the fear starts to fade and clarity takes over. One of the biggest reasons these notices are going out right now has to do with benefit recalculations that are not the same thing as benefit cuts. That distinction matters. Social Security uses automated systems that constantly cross-check information from multiple federal agencies. The IRS, Medicare, state Medicaid offices, and even state wage databases all feed data into the SSA system. When any one of those systems updates a record, it can trigger a notice. For many seniors, the timing lines up with cost of living adjustments. Even if your monthly benefit didn't change dramatically, the SSA still recalculates your record every year to confirm that the COLA was applied correctly. For example, if your benefit increased by 3.2%, the system checks your prior year amount, applies the formula, and confirms the math. That confirmation alone can generate a letter. Here's where the confusion comes in. The letter often uses language like your benefit amount has been reviewed or your payment may be adjusted based on updated information. That doesn't mean a change is coming. It means the review already happened. The system just isn't great at explaining that in human terms. Another major factor is Medicare coordination. This affects millions of retirees, especially those who have Medicare Part B premiums deducted directly from their Social Security check. Every year, Medicare updates premium amounts based on income levels reported to the IRS, usually from 2 years prior. So even if your income hasn't changed recently, Medicare may still adjust how it categorizes your premium. When Medicare updates its records, Social Security is notified. That notification can trigger a letter stating that Medicare-related information was reviewed or updated. Again, no action may be required, but the notice goes out anyway. Let's say you're a retiree in North Carolina receiving $1,285 per month. Your Medicare Part B premium is deducted automatically. If Medicare confirms that your income still falls below the higher income threshold, nothing changes. But the confirmation itself can generate a notice saying your Medicare information was used to determine your benefit amount. That's enough to alarm someone who doesn't know the process. SSI and SSDI recipients are seeing a slightly different version of this notice. In those cases, it often relates to income and resource verification. SSI has strict limits. If you receive help from family, a small pension, or even irregular income like gift money, the SSA may review your record to confirm eligibility. What's important to understand is that these reviews are routine. They don't mean you're under investigation. They don't mean you're about to lose benefits. They mean the system is checking boxes. However, if the letter mentions that the SSA needs additional information, that's when you need to pay closer attention. Some notices include a deadline to respond. Others are purely informational. The problem is that the difference isn't always obvious. Here's a simple way to tell. If the letter asks you to send documents, report income, confirm resources, or contact the SSA by a specific date, that requires action. If it does not ask you to do anything and simply explains that information was reviewed or updated, it's usually for your records only. Another topic tied to these notices is overpayments. This is where a lot of fear comes from. Seniors worry that Social Security is about to demand money back. Overpayments do happen, but they are not triggered by routine reviews alone. Overpayments occur when the SSA determines that benefits were paid incorrectly in the past, often due to unreported income or delayed updates. Most of the notices being reported right now are not overpayment notices. Those letters are very specific. They state an amount owed, explain why, and outline repayment options. If your letter does not clearly state that you owe money, it is not an overpayment notice. There's also been talk online about stimulus checks being tied to these notices. Let's clear that up. There is no active federal stimulus payment connected to Social Security at this time. Any letter suggesting otherwise should raise red flags. Scammers often use real SSA terminology to sound legitimate. The actual SSA will never ask you for payment through gift cards, wire transfers, or unsolicited phone calls. Another area causing confusion is payment timing. Some seniors notice the letter mentioned payment dates or benefit schedules. Social Security pays benefits on a staggered schedule based on birth date. That hasn't changed. If your payment date shifts slightly due to a weekend or holiday, the SSA may note that in a letter. Again, informational, not punitive. State-specific programs also play a role here. If you receive help with Medicare premiums through a state program, or you qualify for Medicaid alongside Medicare, updates in one system can trigger notices in another. For example, if your state adjusts eligibility thresholds or verifies enrollment, Social Security may reflect that update in your file. All of this points to one central truth. These notices are the result of multiple systems interacting at the same time. The SSA isn't great at explaining that complexity in a way that feels reassuring. But when you strip away the legal language, most of these letters boil down to one message: your information was reviewed. Now we're going to talk about what you should actually do after receiving one of these notices, when to call Social Security, when not to, how to protect yourself from scams, and how to stay financially steady while all of this is happening. Now let's bring this home, because this is the part that gives you confidence instead of confusion. If you received one of these notices, the first thing to do is slow down and read it carefully from top to bottom. Look for one key detail. Does the letter ask you to do something by a certain date? If it does, that's when action matters. If it does not ask you to send documents, report income, or contact Social Security, then in most cases the notice is simply for your records. Never call a phone number or click on a link that came with a separate message, text, or email. Real Social Security notices come by mail and direct you to official SSA contact methods only. If you're unsure, you can always call Social Security using the number on their official website or visit your local office in person. If the notice mentions Medicare, remember that many updates are automatic. Premium reviews, income checks, and coordination with state programs happen every year. A review does not mean a reduction. It means the system is confirming accuracy. For those living on fixed income, this is also a good moment to double-check your budget. Know your monthly benefit amount, your Medicare deduction, and your regular expenses. When you understand your numbers, unexpected letters lose their power to scare you. Most importantly, do not ignore notices out of fear, and do not panic because of unclear language. Social Security benefits do not disappear without clear warning, written explanation, and due process. The bottom line is this: these strange notices are happening because multiple systems are updating at the same time, not because seniors are being targeted or benefits are being taken away. When action is required, Social Security will say so clearly. If you received one of these letters, share your city and state in the comments. Let us know what the notice said and what you're concerned about. Your questions help others who are feeling the same uncertainty. You worked hard for your benefits. You earned them. And with the right information, you can face these updates with clarity instead of worry.